Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day, coming to you on WODU Live, the best in college radio. I'm your host, Brendan Abbin, with my co-host Khalid Lewis, and my other co-host Rashad Pennell, who's gonna be joining us a little bit late. He actually just got here actually, but I'm bringing you KBR Sports today. It's been a wild weekend of sports, man. From everything in the sports world, things have just been going down from David Black getting fired in basketball to the NFC and AFC championship games of the weekend. There's so many things that have happened this weekend in sports. Like it's like in this hour span of time, it's like you only get so much time to talk about each thing that happens. But there was a lot that happened. But to go down the list of topics, we're gonna be talking about, of course, the championship games. The Pats and Broncos game. That game was like a thriller down to the last. Honestly, down to the last play almost. That was a great game. And then to talk about also if Stephen Gostkowski, essentially cost the Patriots the game with his missed field goal early in the game in the early first quarter, I believe. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're also going to go into the talking about the David Blatt firing and if this was the right move for the Cavaliers, and then to talk about the new era that is Tyronn Lue in the coaching era, and then to also go on into the NFC Championship game with the mauling the Panthers put on the Cardinals. And then to ask the question, is Cam Newton the best quarterback in professional football? So we'll get into all those things. And for any of all those who are watching who want to call in and who want to join in on the debate, you call in at 757-683-4405. For anybody who didn't catch that, 757-683-4405. For anybody who wants to call in and join in on the debate. But mind you, when you call in, you have to mind a code of etiquette, and there's we all know there's certain words you can't use, certain words you can't use. Yeah, you got if you call in, you gotta make sure you know what you're saying. You gotta watch for if you wouldn't say to the Lord Father himself, don't say it on here. Essentially, that's pretty much what it is. But I'm getting right into it. The Patriots and Broncos, man. The Broncos advanced to the Super Bowl for the second time in about 5 years under Peyton Manning, and we all know how the first time went when they went and they lost to the Seattle Seahawks and got whomped essentially in the Super Bowl. But for some reason, this feels a little different because now they're not exactly being carried by their offense, but more so by their defense. And and they won 20-18, and it honestly did come down to like almost virtually the last play in the game, where you come down. The Patriots they made so many plays throughout the game. There were so many plays, and honestly throughout the whole game, it just felt like Tom Brady was either on his back or he was like tiptoeing all around in the backfield, because there was Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, and the Broncos defensive line was living in the backfield of the New England Patriots. So throughout the whole game, you just see that Tom Brady seemed to be under incredible duress, and throughout the whole season, you looked at it. I mean, their offensive line has been a rotational offensive line. The Patriots themselves have listed 19 players on IR this season, while the Broncos and the Panthers combined have listed only 15. It's when you look at something like that, you're like, wow, that's crazy. Like, there's been that many injuries for the Patriots. For them to even be in this point in the season, to get to this point, it's a testament to their greatness. But what do you guys think about the game and what went down throughout the game? Khalid, let me start off with you. What do you think about the game?
It was a good game. Broncos, their defense showed how great they really are. Like, to be able to, especially when Tom Brady has all his offensive pieces, he has Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, and Gronkowski, all healthy, all playing, and the defense just stops them, and it just shut them down for most of the game, and it only leads to only 2 touchdowns from Tom Brady to Gronkowski, and then I think 2 field goals. Oh no, it was a touchdown, and they didn't get the extra point, and then another touchdown to Gronk, and I think it was it one more touchdown?
Gronkowski had one touchdown reception, and Steven Jackson rushed in for one.
Yeah, that's what it was. Steven Jackson. He ran in. So the fact that they could keep them under 20 points and keep the pressure on them, that just shows how amazing this Broncos defense is. Because even last week we was talking about that the Patriots offense, we able to outlast their defense, and we were proven wrong. Like you didn't know, like Tom Brady was throwing passes that wasn't smart at all. He was being rushed so much that he couldn't find accurate spots. He threw a couple interceptions, and he just looking shaky all over the place. And like the Broncos defense did their thing. That's what they were supposed to do as the number one defense in the league. That's what they're supposed to do. Shut down one of the best the best QBs in the game.
Yeah.
So that's a great testament to their defense and like the way they just shut down Tom Brady. I was liking the way Peyton Manning was looking a little bit. He didn't get as many yards as he should have, as I expected him to, but then he was looking kind of off on third downs when he couldn't convert. And definitely late game when he wasn't converting on third downs, that's what gave Tom Brady an opportunity to score again.
Okay, hold on, let me get to Rashad. Rashad, what did you think about the game?
Just like last week, I told y'all that first quarter is going to determine who wins the game. As we saw, the Broncos. But before I go there, when you say we, who are you referring to? Because I already told you that defense is going to get on them.
No, I was talking about me.
Okay, just making sure. Just because I had no faith in these Patriots. So it came down to the defense and the offense in the first quarter to play, and that's what determined the game. The Broncos went up early, and they held on to the lead the whole game. So I feel like on an offensive standpoint for the Broncos, it wasn't too impressive, as more so their defense, which overshined greatly their offense. Mm-hmm. Both quarterbacks was under a lot of pressure. Tom Brady significantly more, but both of them were, sacked multiple times in the game. So both quarterbacks under pressure. Tom Brady had a lot more hurries than Peyton Manning did, and eventually that's how you beat the Patriots. You make Tom Brady's pocket not be clean, make him have to move, make him make quicker decisions than what he normally makes. Get to the backfield fast enough, and you can beat the Patriots, and it showed with the Broncos.
Okay, well, to the first quarter point, I mean, the Broncos, they were, if Steven Gostkowski, which we'll get into right after this topic, makes the field goal, they're tied after the first quarter. So, I mean, yeah, and then the Broncos go on to score a touchdown, and then after the first half, the Broncos were leading 9-17. But here's the thing. One thing I would say, not to disrespect the Broncos defensive line at all, because I give them credit. You got Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, and them boys on the defensive line. They were getting back there, and they were consistently hitting Tom Brady. But the thing is, when you're under matched in skill, like the offensive lineman of the Patriots is honestly a rookie cast of people are just cast arounds. That's honestly what the offensive line of the New England Patriots has been made of. That's why so many people made so much about how quick their offense is, because it's honestly a get the ball out real quick kind of offense, quick strike offense. But when you have Akeem Talib and those guys on the outside guarding Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, it becomes a lot more difficult to get the ball out that fast, especially when they're jamming them at the line of scrimmage. Mm-hmm. So then when you have those guys jamming your receivers, you have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. But there was about 5 occasions I watched when I was watching the game. I said, this man legit just ran around the offensive tackle for the Patriots. Like DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, honestly, it was all about lateral quickness, and they were just running right around these guys and then getting to Tom Brady. It was sad to watch. You know what I mean? Like you sit there and you think about it. Like, of course, Tom Brady didn't make any excuses for himself. He said, their defense came out and they dictated how we played the game, and they did. And there were adjustments that Bill Belichick could have made, and that he could have adjusted to help Tom Brady have more protection. He could have put that other tight end in the game to help provide extra protection off the line of scrimmage. But then also when you put in that other lineman or other tight end, you're taking out a wide receiver. So that changes up their offense also. But there were so many times that you sat back and you're like, man, like I felt like every single time I looked at Tom Brady, he was on the ground. Not to say Peyton Manning also got rushed, but when you look at the stats, Tom Brady got hit a total of 28 times. 28 times. That's a lot of hits. And even though all those hits aren't recorded as sacks, just the fact you're getting back there and you're hitting a guy is going to make him start getting a little antsy. There was one play that Tom Brady rolled out to the left, and he did the ugliest pump fake, one-handed like faking as if he's about to throw, but because he thought he was gonna get hit. And it becomes the kind of thing, your mindset, you're like, okay, I gotta get the ball now or I'm gonna get hit. That's how a quarterback feels. And then there's honestly nobody around him, but he just felt as though the hit was coming because he had been getting hit all evening. And then he missed Gronkowski on the other side of the field. So you look at something like that and you're just like, man, you know, you feel for him. And then, I mean, the Broncos defense played great. I mean, anytime you force two interceptions from Tom Brady, that's a great game. You know, Tom Brady has not been the one to be throwing interceptions this season. So when you can actually force him to turn the ball over, that's when you look at how great they are. They forced 2 turnovers from him in this game, but he only had 7 on the season. So you look at something like that and you're like, wow, you know, the Broncos defense did play exceptionally well. And then Tom Brady went 17 of 36 in the game. This is the first time Tom Brady's thrown below 50%, and Lord knows how long. So you'll never hear these kind of stats from Tom Brady. He had a quarterback rating of 22, a passer rating of 56.4. But this is how you also see that the Patriots needed help from other places and they just weren't getting it, because Tom Brady was the leading rusher. Tom Brady was the leading rusher for the Patriots. He carried the ball 3 times for 13 yards. The next person was Brandon Bolden with 5 carries for 12 yards. That's crazy. That's bad. Even though the Patriots aren't known as a rushing team, your quarterback can't be your leading rusher. That's not acceptable. And Gronkowski did what Gronkowski does. I mean, he had 8 receptions for 144 yards and a touchdown. And then Julian Edelman, 7 receptions for 53 yards. He got his receptions, but the Broncos did a great job of tackling them on the wrapping them up right when they got to him. Because that's one thing that the low receivers of the Patriots do. Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola, they know how to use their quickness to get yards after the catch. But the thing is, the Broncos were tackling them right there and there. So credit to the Broncos, who are now going on to the Super Bowl.